I think at this point we all know that saying the N-word probably a big no-no, even if you're trying to repeat what someone else said. I like old Just a Robot. Can we bring this guy back? This guy clearly has a very high opinion of himself. Just a Robot, even after all of this, I still feel like he feels like in some way he's right and everybody else is the problem. Oh, that's so good. Good job, Beckett. Good job. Maybe I need to create my own character. Then again, I'd sooner just do that face myself. Oh, I'm a YouTuber too. Oh, what's your YouTube page? Just a Robot. I'll be watching you. Lately standing for what's right. We have a video from Cope and Seeth to watch regarding Just a Robot. So we're going to take a look at that tonight. This thing's supposed to be pretty damn good. It's supposed to show us a lot of information regarding Jar that we didn't know yesterday. So I'm excited to jump into this. So without further ado, let's jump right in on it.
Jar is the personification of every terrible thing that has ever been said about the ACC. He is the snakiest, leechiest I have ever seen.
Recently, in the wake of his video defending Cinebear from serious grooming allegations, Just a Robot found himself involved in one of the most insane livestream interviews of all time.
I would have to agree that was by far one of the craziest interviews that I've ever seen Chud do. Let's get back to Beckett's video.
Limb from Limb by Chud Logic.
Right, so you were trying to use my platform in order to spread your message under the auspices of, oh, I just want your feedback. That's extremely manipulative, and I'm amazed that you think I would fall for that. I'm astounded that you think you could pull a fast one on me like this.
Well, I did want your feedback.
Who are you kidding?
Now, you might be misled into thinking
I love the
Jar's some
graphics.
sort of new kid on the block, but his history on the internet goes way, way back, and it's wrapped up in multiple dramas and controversies. In fact, drama and controversy may be the one consistent thing about the guy, because his earliest content was wrapped up in the anti-SJW skeptic community. And while I've held off on talking about Jar for a while now, there was one moment in the Chud.
Can I just add that Beckett is really good at finding information that seems to miss a lot of other people. He always seems to have something really interesting to add to these things. Like the fact that Just a Robot has a history of doing this to girls. I'm surprised that it took us this long to figure this out. Okay, let's get back to this.
Logic interview that really caught my interest.
If I am in the wrong, I will happily take down my video. I've been lied about plenty of times, and I've always fought back against people slandering and lying about me. I'm not fighting back this time because I know, after chatting with you and watching through your video, that I am in the wrong here.
Now that claim, that Jar has been is a really, really interesting one. Because his history is so messy and convoluted, there's no comprehensive timeline that really exists for Jar. So alternatively, I've interviewed many of the people who've interacted or had issues with Jar over the years, because I think the best way to show you who Jar is to show you who Jar is. Well, so
I like that. Nice and subtle. I think the best way to show you who Jar is to show you who Jar is. I will admit, those damn English folks have a way with words, don't they?
Thoughts on Jar?
Yeah, gay, autistic.
The stuff that's recently
Maybe not Queeman.
Isn't
I spoke too soon.
It's part of a much larger pattern for the way he behaves with other creators online and presents himself to an audience. So what we're going to do here today is look through many of his previous actions and build a profile of one of the most crazy internet autists I think currently exists on YouTube.
You know what? I wish that more of our commentary brethren did awesome edited down to the point videos like this. I've been trying to do that. I just recently did it with the Lieutenant Dan video, but I probably should have done Just a Robot, but I wasn't caught up on the situation. So now that I'm finally getting caught up, I probably will do like a catch-up edit video of everything that's going on with him and just kind of compact it all and then give it out as this is everything you missed type video. The blackface arc?
I think a good place to start with Jar is his professional victimhood, which is at such astonishing levels, it beggars belief.
I avoided talking about the ArtCC dramas because ArtCC people tend to be a bit backstabby.
Interestingly, this is a sentiment he'd repeat to Cinebear in his recent and now deleted video where he goes to bat for her.
That's why I hate ArtCC people, they're insanely backstabby.
But what does Jar mean by this?
Pizza, welcome to the stream. I refrained from getting involved in this shit a while back, and I'm breathing a sigh of relief as a result, especially after seeing how fast it's exploding. I gotta be honest, that's a good point. This has gone from 0 to 100 really fast, especially when you consider the fact that this all started with Cinebear. Just a Robot wasn't involved in this at all. And then that cunning girl, Cindy Bear, figured out a way to turn the entire narrative away from what she was doing. She got all the attention off of her and on Just a Robot, and just like that. Like, you gotta admit, the girl's got impressive manipulation ability. But yeah, you probably did the right thing, Pizza, staying out of this one, because you don't want to be involved when everybody's careers are just igniting in the flames. Probably best bet to just steer clear.
What situations has he been in that he just assumes everyone is out to stab him in the back? Well, this is most probably one of those cases where you just assume that others are going to do to you what you will do to them. Because if anybody is a backstabbing bitch, it's Jar. He's very willing to sort of like put the knife in and twist it. And from what I hear, it's because like he'll hold a grudge for like 5 years. 10 years, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, let's say somehow his City Bear like affiliation alliance succeeded. Let's say the video goes off amazingly. Everyone's like,
Really good,
like, let's go. This is amazing. It's pretty likely that sometime in the future, when they have a falling out, Just a Robot would forget all of that and then completely turn on his previous position just to go at City Bear for whatever reason. Like that's what that seems to be like what he's done, and everyone just kind of skirt past it because everyone just thinks like, oh, he's just got the right opinion. Like, it's fine.
The video we're currently watching clips from...
Having the right opinion and being able to sell your opinion the right way are two different things, I'd say. I think that Just a Robot has gotten very lucky in the way that he presents his arguments through his videos, because I don't imagine somebody who can come to this conclusion is either two things. One, 100% somebody who supports grooming young kids, which I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt of not being. Or two, somebody who is really good at making his opinion seem like it's the legit thing, and overall he's kind of an idiot, and he's always been an idiot. That's the case here. There's one or the other. He's a giant idiot, or he's somebody who supports grooming, and he's intelligent. Although I don't know if there's such a thing as an intelligent person who supports grooming, but I digress.
Is his one on Hopeless Peaches. And like many other dramas in the past, the minute Jar has an opportunity to take a shot at somebody, regardless on what terms he is on with them, he will take it. Which makes this next bit incredibly ironic.
It doesn't matter how many times you shout them out, defend them in a drama, or anything else. To them, you're just another potential target for them to make a video on.
So, I, unfortunately, had the displeasure
Fair.
of going through your Susie video today, because I had it beforehand. Because I've had people tell me it was in there, and I wanted to make sure I...
Oh no, VTuber on VTuber violence? I'm here for it.
So I'm going to tell you what I saw in that video, Jar. I saw you dancing on the grave of somebody who, with the exception of voicing in a video, which you and her resolved between yourselves, dancing on the grave of somebody who'd been nothing but kind to you.
Jar will say that the accusations against him have been long debunked. And while we'll look into why he's been able to make that claim, there's one particular accusation that I really want to hone in on because it deserves some analysis.
Then to everybody in the ArtCC, guys, if your allegations about me being racist haven't worked the first 50 times, then they're not gonna work this time. Like, seriously, I have been called racist by the ArtCC for doing an accent. At this point, things are just getting petty.
At the risk of making Jar sound dangerously based, let's just say the racism accusations are
Making
more
him
than
sound
just
based.
doing some voices. Now, while I don't personally care, I think that there is more than enough here that if you wanted to make that accusation, it is a reasonable one to make, and Jar getting so upset about it is absolutely insane.
The only time I remember him saying it was when he said, say. But even then, that was to make fun of a white girl. Oh, so your thumbnail maker is either a racist white person or a according to you.
I just a robot.
Listen, I know that there was all that thing that went down. Again, just because iDubbbz said the N-word in a video back in the day, that doesn't give you the right to use it as a pass to say the N-word, to repeat what he said. Everybody knows it's a bad word. Everybody knows you shouldn't say it. If you say it nowadays, you're either trying to purposely be provocative or you're just racist. Because I think at this point, we all know that saying the N-word probably a big no-no. Even if you're trying to repeat what someone else said, you could say it without saying it, but you don't really need to say it to sell it.
Am in fact black.
Just to be clear, this goofy motherfucker is like the whitest person I have ever seen.
Oh my god, that's exactly what I picture Just a Robot to look like in real life.
And let's not forget about the outro song to this dude's old videos.
My eyes have seen the glory of the cleansing of YouTube, debunking SJWs and feminazis too. We criticize reactionists in hopes they get the boot. Just a Robot marches on.
I like old Just a Robot. Can we bring this guy back?
And before you say, hey Beckett, that's just the Battle Hymn of the Republic, what are you talking about, bro? It was noted by several sources that this rendition bears a striking similarity to the rendition in American History X.
The white man marches on.
Now, I didn't even put the two of those together. If you say it, you're either racist or black. One situation gets you in trouble. Yeah. One situation gets you in way more trouble than the other situation. That's for sure, DSB.
Was begging for me to explain how calling a black woman an ugly little black thing is racist.
Wait, is that what he actually said? Because I've never heard the racism accusations.
He did. It's bad.
He
Like,
called,
oh my god.
Yeah, he called Omni a stupid black woman for them having a disagreement. He then went on to he had made a video on something about race bending, because he always has beef with like black characters in anime. But you know what? You can have your own opinion, even though it's sus in my opinion. But anyway, in that video, he called Michelle Obama a man, and like I had like some racist memes in there. Yeah, and then he's like, straight up, he just likes to say the N-word and just like say crazy things. But he says that it's because he has apparently his black roommate doesn't mind it, so...
And it's not even racism against black people. Like,
I've got a black friend.
Literally.
Yeah, he actually made a video. He said, I asked my black friend, that is his roommate, Professor Dreadlock. He said it's fine. So like, he wasn't mad about it.
Oh
I don't know.
God. And he did a video where he said that Asian people speak English.
Yeah,
good.
He
Send
also
me all
said
of it.
Something about Jewish people.
A lot of the people who worked directly under Larry Fink were Jewish, up to the point that a lot of people who worked in the company called his desk, quote, Little Israel. And this is why some people have accused me of asking the Jewish question.
Now, nothing I'm presenting here is particularly new. I've been dealing with these accusations for years now, and they are, to be fair, very much a product of the environment in which he used to exist. The issue lies in the fact that he's such a whiny bitch about them anytime they're brought up.
Yes,
now, I
Beckett.
want to be fair, but it's very difficult to paint a picture of a guy I've never even spoken to, which, let's be honest, only left me with one option. I'm interested as to why this bothers you so much, because, you know, I think those of us who've been around a while all have sort of our edgier element.
You actually talked about that in the video you did with Kumo. I mean, Akumu. You did, remember? I remember.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't this K-Huck? I think we just rated this person yesterday as our stream, because that looks like K-Huck's emoji here. Interesting. Why is he talking to these people? Although, just to be fair, I haven't reached out to Just a Robot at all about talking to them. And to be fair, we don't really have a huge following yet. But we're going to get there. You better believe it.
Yeah. I think I've mentioned some things along those lines. And it's interesting watching your reaction to that.
I know. The reason why I think I had such a visceral reaction before the Cine Bear stuff, that was the closest I ever... That was the closest I have ever come to being canceled. Prismate Luke talked about it, Thuman, Kai, and a bunch of other people were going to talk about it, but I apologized very early on, and then it kind of went away, but people kept on bringing it up, and it's kind of become a meme, in a way. It's, like, I even brought it up in my Cine Bear video, like, come on, you don't even think I'm racist? Boo! Like... It's kind of become a meme. I've kind of accepted it, but when it first happened, my biggest connection with another YouTuber was Kuro the Artist. Prismate Luke painted me incredibly uncharitably. Like, he claimed that my roommate's avatar, he wasn't my roommate at the time, but now he is, but my roommate's avatar, Professor Dreadlock, was a quote-unquote blackface version of me, even though the only thing they have in common is it's in the same art style.
Okay. I don't think I've seen that image. I've only seen the one where you've got your video where you're talking about, I believe, One King and some of the stuff that's happening around black identitarian politics.
Yes, that's another... I don't personally think that was blackface, but what happened there is the artist who did my original avatar, that picture of me, because that's how she assumed I looked in real life. And if you've seen any leaked pictures of me, you know I don't look a thing like that.
I am aware of the leaked pictures. I will say I know that your sort of face isn't out there. So if if any like image of you is used, it will be blurred. So I'm not sort of face revealing you, but I know those images are sort of pretty widely shared around. I think I've seen them on Twitter as well at this.
I just hate that everybody uses the lowest res image of me. I'm like, there's literally every image of me that I leaked. It was higher quality than that one, but everybody loves to use the one where I'm in low resolution for some reason.
I think it's the Superman shirt, mate. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think that has a lot to do with it.
Well, that's a hard one.
It's embarrassing to admit that I'm wearing a Superman shirt right now.
I wonder if he's wearing the same Superman shirt that he wore in the picture he took. This guy clearly has a very high opinion of himself. Just a Robot, even after all of this, I still feel like he feels like in some way he's right and everybody else is the problem, which makes him the problem.
Well, fair enough. But okay, I think that sort of clears up that question. No, actually, no, sorry, I had one other thing. The song you use at the end of your videos, the Battle Hymn of the Republic that you had for the way those videos ended. I heard through one of the people I spoke to, in fact several of the people I spoke to, that it bears a striking similarity to American History X. I sort of just wanted to ask whether that in any way was an inspiration, because the wording has similarities to that particular song in ways that it doesn't have to the original hymn.
Oh, no, that's perfectly understandable, and that is accurate. I heard the song Glory, Glory, Hallelujah, then I watched a movie, American History X, while I was actually creating my channel, and I thought... when I heard that racist rendition of it, I thought, oh, I'm going to make my own rendition of this song. Like, it's a rendition of a rendition, and one of my...
So then, yes, the answer is yes. This was influenced by American History X.
Friends, who's not my friend anymore, helped me come up with the lyrics. And yeah, that's where the song came from. By the way, highly recommend the movie American History X. My one problem is when the white nationalist guy is shooting, that gun had way too much ammo for a pistol.
As a final element of this section...
That's the one problem you have with the movie? Oh my god, dude. This guy does not know better. This is bad. Maybe this guy is actually autistic.
I'd just like to hone in on the element of Jar making apologies. Because in this regard... it can be difficult.
So happy Earl Grey on X. I'm liking all the X love.
Me with my apology video. That's going to be on me, and I'm.
Jar, here's the problem.
Yeah.
Your apology video, it's not going to have any value to it. And the reason why it's not going to have any value to it because you have gone on record before saying you will revoke apologies.
Listen, like I said before, and I said it again, unless I say something incredibly stupid that I really truly disagree with, you will never see me make an apology video. I stand by everything I say.
Well, I haven't revoked all of them, but like...
And here lies a problem with a lot of the stuff with Jar. The dude has no spine and no conviction.
Yeah.
However, I
do
want to thank Jar for one thing. Because if I continue playing the clip that set up the racism segment, it brings us nicely onto our next section.
Try calling me sexist next time. At least there's plenty of evidence for that allegation.
Oh, that's so good. Good job, Beckett. Good job. I want to talk to Beckett. I need someone to reach out to Beckett and tell him EG wants to talk to him.
During the latter half of his conversation with Chud Logic, FPS Diesel would make an appearance and drop an unexpected bombshell.
Yeah, this is so good. When FPS Diesel dropped in here to talk about this is so fucking funny.
Alright, what is this?
Yo.
I don't think Chud found it very funny, though.
You can finish it up tomorrow, in fact.
This is, by the way, an audio recording that he sent Cine Bear. Like a voicemail.
Yeah. What a cute little pussy.
Now this raises
oh my
an
god
interesting question. Is this an outlier, or does Jar have some sort of well-known history in relation to his odd behavior towards women?
I mean, look, I told you in DMs before, you throw a rock at a woman in this community, they'll tell you a story about Jar. It's like an instinctive reaction.
And that's not an understatement. Basically, every woman I've spoken to has a story. And in some cases, people have heard...
Wait, is this Beckett's VTuber thing? Is that his VTuber? I'm so confused. It looks like him as a cartoon character. Maybe I need to create my own character.
Heard about this project and are just sending me their
Then again, I'd sooner just do that face myself, you know.
DMs with Jar. Now I'm going to level with you. I want to limit this to the conversations I've actually had with people who have platforms, because it's quite easy in situations like this for people to come out with accusations which are later shown to be false. That being said, we are going to start with Jar's former artist, given that they're a bit of a ground zero for this being discussed.
Okay,
You
yeah, that's
worked
Beckett's.
with Jar
Okay.
as his artist. Can you tell me some of the interactions you had with Jar?
Yeah. Well, most of it on my side was just like super professional and like, you know, like it started out really, really professional.
Because I thought that was K-Hux, but
Like,
she was reacting to the
any
video.
kind of client relationship you would expect. But after, I'd have to check the date, but after like not too long, he started to want to VC with me. So he asked me to VC him. This was the first time he ever asked me, and I was like, oh yeah, I can totally, that was a response to something else. I basically was like, I was like, I can probably VC in a little bit. And this was the first time I thought, oh, maybe I'll humor him. I mean, maybe he's a nice guy. Maybe I'll VC him. I don't know.
That's your first
Usually I think
mistake.
It's like a client thing. Like maybe he wants to talk about art. But I realized that maybe he just wanted to chat as friends or something. I don't know. I didn't know him at all. And so he was like, awesome. Just so you know, sometimes I say off the cuff shit, lol. And
AKA, prepare yourself for me to be gross.
And I responded with, don't even sweat it. I'm the same way. I only censor myself if the other person isn't into the more edgy humor I'm into. And then he said, this is the weird part. He said, okay, cool. I just don't want to lose another person who is so useful.
Okay.
Yeah, these conversations were weird. When he said that, I was like, okay, no worries. And then I disappeared, never VC'd him. And then I got another message saying, are we not VCing?
Are we not
Told him
VCing?
that I accidentally fell asleep, which was probably bullshit. I just didn't want to VC him, but you know.
While requests to just jump into a voice call aren't unique to Jar within the ACC,
Again, like, this is so bad. This, to be honest with you, I think the only way to look at it is like Jar has zero common sense.
he has certainly garnered a reputation for being a little bit weird about the whole thing, even amongst that crowd. You all know me. I'd love to do the whole kind of concerned, I think this is a really serious problem. It's also...
Yeah, red flag, red flag.
You said this to me before, that basically my surprise was surprising, because I kind of forget not everyone is just kind of used to it. Jar asking about women's pussies is nothing new.
Oh my god, dude.
BC, like, oh god. Back when Peaches was still around, he used to ask us all sorts of inappropriate shit, and people kind of just rolled their eyes, and it was like, it's just Jar, he's too stupid to be a problem, so like, just roll with the punches.
That guy who was too stupid to be a problem has 207,000 subscribers on, I mean, oh my god, dude. What am I doing wrong?
I mean, look, Jar crying to get in VCs with people is really common. The cock joke is really common.
What do you mean
asking about...
What do you mean by crying to get into VCs with people?
When he... Well, I mean, my first ever interaction with Jar, the first time he ever DM'd me, he was like, hey, can you get into VC? I'm really sad and want to talk to someone. And I was like, what?
What?
I'm like, sir. And of course, this was... God, how many years ago was this now? I had forgotten about this exchange. I only remember... I just saw it because I went back into my DMs to find the other stuff.
And this is also mentioned in the conversations I had with long-standing member of the community, Sunny. But what we need is almost a case study of a particular instance where Jar's behavior is fully on display. Fortunately, one exists. Let's talk...
Hey, what's up, Avocados? Keeping an eye on Kick and Discord while making sure Raj is good. Thank you, Soul. You don't... now this is Avocados. You don't do things wrong. You just don't pander to anti-woke people. Hello, by the way. Yeah. Coming in hot with the good takes, Avocados. I like it.
About VidCon. Now, to provide you a bit of forewarning, the stories I'm about to tell you about VidCon 2023...
Oh my god, it's like setting a predator loose on a whole entire con.
...quite autistic. Allow me, though, to set the scene for you. A few days prior to the event, Jar would release a thumbnail for his upcoming Spoctor video, which included a reference to EDP. Even with the allegations against Spoctor, some people felt this went a bit far. One of whom was Mally.
I had seen that, and I replied to his thumbnail thing on Twitter being like, hey, this is fucking dumb. Don't imply someone is, you know, as bad as EDP when they're not.
The fallout from this thumbnail was actually pretty significant, and it's become its own little bit of jar lore within the art commentary community. It actually even ended his friendship with another creator who goes by Harley. But personally, I think the far more interesting story is the fallout that occurred during VidCon. It seems that Jar was very keen to meet up with other creators and have a conversation during the convention, with Mally bearing the brunt of his attentions.
I have a feeling the majority of the creators he was desperately trying to meet up. Jar, at VidCon, I guarantee he was like desperately trying to meet up with like all the female creators.
The DMs she would receive over the next couple of days are incredibly fucking weird. I don't want to read them in full, but I will give you a solid summary. Jar begins by making it clear his intentions are to talk about the current drama. Mally is not very receptive. She refuses a VC. Jar makes the very sensible move of suggesting they meet up for drinks and then possibly going to his hotel room.
Oh my
He
god.
does phrase this as a joke, but it is incredibly sexually aggressive nonetheless. After this, a few days would pass, and Jar's pleas for meeting up become even more desperate. At one point saying he wouldn't threaten or berate her for not getting in a VC with him. Part of the problem here is that Jar's interactions seem to be largely like this with anyone he's having drama with. In fact, Mally would receive DMs later on in October referencing this drama. Now, we'll come back to Jar's intimidation tactics and how incredibly fucking vindictive he can be in a later section, but I wanted to highlight here how long-running this drama was over what was essentially a single tweet.
There's no way to describe this without it sounding uncharitable. Like, people just for an answer, which is just what happened, but that sounds like really sexual, and that's not what it was. I don't think. But yeah, he was kind of like just hunting for us at VidCon.
Oh my god, it's like terrifying.
Like, we have the protection squad, so if someone spotted like anything Jar adjacent, they sent a group message being like, stay indoors.
Oh my god, could you imagine going around VidCon and then having a whole entire group of girls being terrified that you may spot them? That's like, it's so terrifying, dude.
Now, Mally wouldn't be the only person to have some weird interactions with Jar throughout the convention. Another notable individual is Ponder. Now, Ponder was on lookout duty, and while chilling out outside, she'd find herself in a direct
definition of a
confrontation with
pig.
Jar. I'm going to relay this to you really as simply as I can because it feels like a very convoluted story for a very small interaction. Ponder would be approached by Jar, who she did not recognize. They'd have a quick conversation, during which he'd mention he was also a YouTuber. When she asked, "Oh, what's your channel?" he responded, "Just a robot," gripped her hand tightly, and then laughed manically while walking away.
Oh my god, this dude is fucking psychotic. Oh, I'm a YouTuber too. Oh, what's your YouTube page? I'm just a robot. I'll be watching you. That's exactly how it played out, guys. I saw it.
Elements of this story have for some reason been hotly debated, whether Jar recognized...
Exactly, Blue Jay. Stranger danger to someone you actually know.
But one thing is for certain. Upon hearing the name Just a Robot, Ponder exclaimed, "Oh God," and tried to pull away.
The kicker is he did it again this year. But another, I think 3.
Another 2 of our friends, yeah.
2? They told us he they tried to chase them down.
Oh my god.
No, I think they were either in like...
Hi, it's me, Jar. Hi. Where are you guys running to? Wait for me. Remember we talked about coming back to my hotel room. I'm desperate for love and affection. It's Jar chasing after the girls.
A hall or a panel beforehand. Jar spotted them, started coming towards them.
Oh wait,
they started
I was there.
like running away. Yeah.
Okay, so we were literally in the convention hall. We were doing some fucking like Descendants thing. It was so dumb. And we spotted him. And so Jar didn't know what I looked like. He knew what B looked like. And so I was like, B, stand in front of me so that he can't fucking see you. And we were able to go through the thing. And then we started like making our way to where we could go up to the creator level because we had...
Something tells me though these VTubers don't look like their avatars. I just want to put it out there.
a panel that we wanted to go to. So one of the people turned around and was like, "Oh, he's following us." And he was like really fucking close. So we just booked it for the escalator and we're like, "Oh my God, we're running late for the panel," like very loudly. And we just ran.
Yeah, and these are people as well, the other 2 creators that we aren't naming, that have already told Jar, like, to fuck off. And the thing that, it's a Jarism at this point. He jumps up and down screaming about how no one is leaving him alone and everyone is, like, coming at him. but Jar's the only one that's like doing shit. Everyone else is like, go away, and he doesn't.
VidCon 2023 is very much.
I could see Jar being like, but my subscriber count's bigger than yours. You must love me. Well, bro, yeah, it's cool that you're doing good on YouTube, but like, you're creeping us out, man. Like, get away from us.
It's a snapshot of who Jar is. And while I would love to present to you everything I've seen and been told about Jar, I've chosen to be selective to stuff that I can in some way verify. Now, I know that many of those stories are rolling out at time of recording, and I'm sure there will be many interesting tales to tell of Jar's interactions with women. But I think the most interesting thing right now is if I just show you what he has to say about it. One thing that has sort of been brushed upon, but no one's really gone in depth, because I think a lot of it is behind the scenes. When FPS Diesel came in and played you the recording of the voice message that you sent to one of your artists, that became a bit of a sideline. You know, Diesel comes in and drops a bombshell. Now, as far as I can tell, from what I've been told, every woman within the ACC who you've interacted with has a story like this. You know, and when I spoke to Lo about it, to where Jar was still doing that, my understanding was that Jar had a girlfriend now and had stopped.
It truly my sense of humor. This is how I joke around, and I really should have stopped joking around like this once I got a girlfriend. This is not my attempts to hit on anyone.
No, because Jar's the type of person who has a girlfriend, but then goes, I must upgrade. I have a person I can sleep with, but now I must upgrade the person I could sleep with to someone better. That's the way I think he's looking at this shit.
It's not, it's, again, like, I guess my view towards you isn't sort of, well, this is flirtatious. Though there's, you know, I can see where that accusation comes from. I don't want to ascribe things. What I can say is this stuff is very, very odd. I mean, the let's talk about VidCon, because, you know, I've seen DM messages from you to Mally, and I've heard the stories of you sort of trying to.
Yeah, good point, Avocados.
And your interactions with Ponder. I mean, do you recognize these as sort of quite abnormal things to do?
Well, at first I wanted to meet up with Mal, and the others because I've interacted with them for so long, and then Mal just was like, I don't want to see you, and I wasn't looking for them. Like, I wasn't looking for Mal or the others. Like, I swear, first person I saw at VidCon was Harley. I think they were in a CVS pharmacy with...
Question, put a 1 in the chat if you think that Jar cares what kind of genitalia you have. 2 in the chat if you think he'd prefer to have a vagina, but 1 in the chat if you think that he would probably sleep with anybody who would sleep with him back.
With possibly the right opinion. My roommate can confirm this for me. My roommate can, and I was just like, I don't want to interact with Harley. Like, Harley and the others are upset with me. I don't want to interact with them right now.
3 means that he only sleeps with people who have specific pronouns.
And as for the thing at VidCon with Ponder,
you want to give me your version of that? Because
yeah,
the version I've heard is you sort of approaching her and shaking her hand, telling her.
Seeing a lot of. I see 1, 2. I see 1s.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. So what
the question is, Gypsy, because Jar was saying that the first person he ran into at the VidCon, he was like, their pronouns are they, which means that there's somebody who is, it means that someone are, I guess, trans, but I still think that he would probably try to sleep with them if he had the opportunity to. So my question was, do you think that he cares if you're a girl, or do you think he's just so desperate for physical interaction that he would sleep with anybody? 62, 778, what is wrong with y'all? What is wrong with y'all?
Actually happened was I sat down.
I'll give you an exact number.
And then I heard Ponder's voice, and I looked to my left and I noticed, that person looks like Ponder. And then I read the name tag and I was like, oh my God, this is Ponder. So I said, oh, are you Ponder Sprocket? She gave me a sticker. I shook her hand. I said, I'm also a YouTuber. And she says, oh, who?
I don't understand the pronoun thing. I try to be respectful, but I don't understand it. That's okay, Gypsy. Yeah, it's a lot to understand. But yeah, if we get 3 subscribers, we'll be at 3.5K tomorrow. Let's do it, guys. We cannot let Beckett pass us, and I will not allow it to happen. I'm coming with that fire, baby. You better watch it. I mean, Beckett's good, though. I can't even take it away from him. He's good, but he caught up to me super, super fast. I had like 1,000 subscribers on him at one point, and he's like already like within striking distance of passing me. Not that subscribers matter, because my people are so great. Harley is non-binary, and I doubt Jar would sleep with someone who he started collabing with as a teen. I don't know. I wouldn't put anything past this guy at this point. He seems so desperate for any type of interaction or acceptance.
Ooh, and I said, just a robot. She yelled out, oh my god.
Passion76 PJ, welcome to the stream. I heard so much of Jar over the last few days, and I'm curious what he looks like. We saw a picture of him earlier in the stream. I think it's actually here. Hang on. I know that Beckett showed a picture of him earlier. Let me see if I can find it. Blue Jay, can you see if you could find that picture of Just a Robot for me so that we can show our new chat buddy?
And I immediately let go of her hand. She says I squeezed it, but I distinctly remember letting go, like just letting go immediately because I didn't want it to linger. And then I walked away. And then when I got inside, I kind of laughed about it because of her reaction.
I mean, with the messages you sent to Mally,
of course, Passion, no worries.
Come across in quite. I mean, I know we're not saying flirtatious as a jokey side.
I know how you feel too. These people hide behind these VTubers. You're always curious what they look like compared to who they sound like. Thank you, Blue Jay.
Well, if you don't want to meet up or VC, you could just we could meet for drinks and come to my hotel room.
And then I said lol JK or something.
Sure, but that's still a a very aggressively sexual thing to say, right?
Yes, I realize that. I know I need to stop this. I've been given warnings about it. It's just now finally catching up to me.
I've been given warnings about how I'm too aggressive towards women, but just now am I realizing the error of my ways because now it's going to threaten my internet career. So now I'm going to stop. But I never would have stopped before because they were just terrified of me. What's there to lose?
But this is something that is
this
is my one of my biggest character flaws, and it's always been my style of humor, and I don't know how. I'm going to try to get better, but sometimes I think, can I even do that?
Because I mean, again, looking at even like minor players like Sunny, you posed, I believe, her to voice a character, a mouse that would be in love with you for your videos.
Oh my god.
No. Okay. I don't think her character was supposed to be in love with me. There was just okay, so you know how what was it? Resident Evil 4, I believe.
Oh, I can't wait to see this connection.
Mouse, like people were memeing that like the president's daughter was like this mouse version of herself.
Sure.
Yeah, and as I've never played Resident Evil 4, I do not know if her and Leon get into a relationship, but the mouse was supposed to say things like "Cheese whiz, Mr. Jar" and stuff like that. And then she told me she didn't want to do that, and I assumed it was because of the cheese whiz part, but later she explained to me that she's from Wales, and Mr. implies a form of...
Okay, now I will admit that in Resident Evil 4, the girl looks like she's very young, but I think she's supposed to be like 22. Like, she really could pass for like 14. It's a little creepy.
Like authority over someone, and I had no idea about that. That's not a...
Oh, for sure, sweet.
I'm aware in the States, Mr. is just like what you call an adult male where I'm from.
The whole entire internet has just been alerted to the way this guy is. And of course he's anxious now. Like every misdeed he's ever had has been brought to the surface. His whole career is basically over at this point.
Okay, that again clears up. And again, I know the artist in question, who you sent those voice messages to.
Who is it?
So
it's going well. It's going well.
I thought it was the one who made the thumbnail for the Cine video because
I found it. Timestamp 5:36. Thank you, Blue Jay. Okay, 5:36. Okay, so it's 29. We're at 29:48 right now. Don't let me forget that. 29:48. So 5:36. All right, so this should be it right here. There you go. There he is. Blue Jay on fire. So you can't actually see his face, Passion, but that's you can pretty much figure out what the guy probably looks like. Kind of like a slimmer version of Christian, if I had to guess, but that nerdy type of look. So enjoy, embrace, take in all that is Ja.
My perspective, this didn't come as a, I'd heard some of these stories beforehand of sort of odd interaction. It seems like, if it's like done amongst close friends, you can kind of go, that's understandable, but this seems to be just your interactions generally are quite odd.
Yeah.
Overall.
Yeah. No, I want to make this clear. I'm not using this as an excuse, but just as an explanation. I'm not saying this completely means what I'm doing is okay. But not only do I have autism and dyslexia, so...
Oh my god! How long did it take for him to blame it on his autism, guys? Oh my god, there's definitely a video coming down the pipe where everybody who fucks up on the internet blames it on their autism. Autism is not a get out of jail free card. All right? It's not. I'm sorry. I know being autistic probably has its setbacks, but not everybody can blame everything on your autism when you fuck up big time or try to overly get handsy with girls. Can't blame your autism for that. I'm sorry. Yeah, he played the autism card. I don't know how to really talk about this, but yeah, you and everybody else, bro. Everybody else.
Communication between people, especially through text, is horrible.
The shades of blows blacks all over.
But on top of that, I was pretty much homeschooled all my life, so I didn't really get to interact with people. And I've actually lost jobs because of this, making jokes like this. Sometimes, and after a while, I started avoiding female coworkers, and then I started...
Because I couldn't control myself from being super handsy with them. Just say, sorry, I'm stupid and screwed up. Take responsibility. Yeah. Sorry, I can't control my hormones, and I get a bit, bullish when I see a woman, and I just can't control myself. I just have to be a creep. It's an explanation, not an excuse. Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not an excuse. You're looking for sympathy. It's a sympathy play. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't blame it on me. Blame it on my autism. That's why I'm the way I am.
Avoiding coworkers altogether.
I know plenty of people who suffer from autism while also not getting handsy or being uncontrollably flirty to people. His voice is so grating after a while. He just yeah. I know, that's why I appreciated Chud being like, okay, shut the fuck up. All right, I need to hear your words.
Because I was just like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? And plenty of people have explained it to me, and now it's hitting me harder than ever. And I'm going to try to work on myself, but I'm nervous that I'll never get better.
It's kind of interesting, because you made the allusion to Coyote, and I was thinking the same thing. I mean, does it occur to you that this is more or less, it didn't get to go as far, but this is more or less a Coyote Lovely situation?
I understand why people get that impression. The problem is I talk to everyone only has spoken to 2 people like that as far as I'm aware, and Coyote did things like to make pictures of him licking.
I think the issue is people feel so safe behind their computer and they feel like they could say whatever they want. So then they go on to say whatever they want. Good example is what Avocados just sent me in the DMs was the clip that she said she's waiting for is apparently a clip where Jar was in a call as a guest, and at some point he was about to leave and said, if you excuse me, I have to go call the cops. There's a black guy outside. Everyone in the call was awkwardly silent. Jar then explained that he lives in a mostly black neighborhood and that the uncomfortable silence remained. You can't say shit like that. There's no way to say that without coming off like incredibly racist. Even if you try to say racist shit around Republicans, I know there's this overarching narrative out there that Republicans are racist, which they're not, but people say that they are. Even if you say that shit around them, they'll probably still give you the silence treatment and be like, did you really just say that to me, bro? Did you really? Like, what are you talking about? I gotta go as a black guy out front. Like, that's only humorous to people who are racist, to be honest with you. I think the humor in it is that I have to go as a black guy out front and I don't feel safe. I think that's the gist of the joke. But in reality, all she's saying is there's a black guy out front, I'm gonna get robbed, which is incredibly stereotypical and has very high tones of racism attached to it.
Sappho's butthole, and the most...
I want to go back a little bit. I want to hear what he said right here.
Hire an artist to make pictures of him licking Sappho's butthole, and the most I've done is, hey Cindy, want to see my cock, and send a picture of a chicken. I think it's like, and also like,
well, even if it's to a lesser extent, because we can argue the semantics, but you built a friendship with Cinebear, which...
Not only that, but Cinebear was also the subject of one of his videos, and you're trying to convince us that she's innocent, but yet here you are trying to court her romantically. Sometimes the best thing to do is just let the idiot keep talking. Yeah, let him dig himself a hole.
For whatever reason, Coyote, this is how it started with Coyote. He went to try and get Sappho, but ended up building that friendship and then relationship with them.
Well, here's the thing: if people, there's no way we can know for sure if I would go further or not. I'm gonna say I wasn't, but I can understand if people would think I would have gone further with it. The thing is, I've talked to almost everyone like this, and I need to stop it. It's an issue I have. Thank God I'm not doing it with you right now.
Yeah, it's because you're being questioned. You're in a very uncomfortable situation. By the way, I love that he has the crying emoji of the robot.
Because I know I need to avoid that. I'm not saying, here's my cock and sending you hey, wanted to see a dick pic, and
This wouldn't be the time or the place for that, buddy, although that would be very funny if he did.
I send you a picture of Dick Grayson.
I want to keep the theme of Jar's interactions with people, but shift gears a little bit.
These people disgust me. They don't care if what they did was wrong. They just
the friend zone.
Also, I'm going to try and reach out to Chud Logic. Ooh, I remember liking his stream. I think with his help, along with the recording... You little fucking bitch! You little wretch!
That's when he found out he was trying to use Chud to get his video over with people.
What you thought, was it?
It may come as absolutely no surprise to you that that's exactly what Jar thought. Now, you may have noticed a little subscribe account number popping up when anybody's speaking, and that's because I wanted to give you an insight into how Jar sees the world. His relationships are almost entirely transactional. How much clout somebody has, how much influence they can hold, whether they can be of benefit to him, are the key things that he is thinking about. And
unfortunately, that is a lot of the internet. I have had a hard time getting people on stream because we don't have the numbers. Even Beckett has. Beckett will have at any given time a couple hundred people on his stream watching them. Even though I have a higher subscriber count, I haven't been streaming as long as him. So most likely our streaming count isn't as high. So if I try to get people on the stream, a lot of times they won't come on because to them, seeing 20-some people in a stream isn't enough clout for them to warrant coming and giving their time. Perfect example, Tipster. I guarantee you if I had 100,000 subscribers and hundreds of people in my chat, he'd probably be more likely to stick to what he said he would and come on and talk to me. But the problem is, too, that's everybody on the internet. Not me. I'll talk to anybody. I don't care how many people you have watching you. I will talk to anybody because I like people. And I feel like everybody has some sort of value to offer. But that's not something that most people on the internet think. They exclusively, like Beckett said, talk in transactional representations of things. If you can't build my career, I'm helping to pull you up instead of you helping to pull me up. I'm not going to give you the time of day. And it sucks that it's like that, to be honest with you.
when you fall from grace, you are of no use to him anymore.
But I also can't get help from people like Lio, Peaches, and Doodletones. The last two left YouTube and Lio's reputation is in the dirt.
I've been there for you. I've done it for years now. You didn't even have the decency to come to me about this because I was, and I quote, canceled, which means somehow my information means nothing. That is not treating me like a friend, Jar. That's treating me like an asset.
But I don't want to give you the impression this is the way...
This guy sucks, dude. Jar really fucking sucks.
Jar works only with larger content creators as though he has the intelligence...
He sums up like everything that's wrong with the internet in one particular person. That's who Just a Robot is.
...to be that tactical. In the current drama involving Cinebear, he begged a tiny content creator, Romantic Goblin, to come and fight in
Absolutely,
his
Master Toothpick.
with people who disagreed with him. And because Jar's only concern is whether you can be of use to him, it means he has basically no moral standards for the things he talks about. Now, I don't want to get into the whole Spoctor drama because that's a whole nother rabbit hole. But Spoctor was somebody who they basically had banged to rights as being in possession of illicit images of a minor. So you'd think Jar would have issues with this even years later.
Thanks for the heads up, Saul.
In his interview with Cinebear, he makes the following statements.
Don't fuck up like Spoctor and Peaches did. Like, here's the thing. When it comes to the Spoctor situation, the dude got canceled for being a pussy. Like, if I was in that same situation as him, I would have been like, oh yeah, I stumbled upon it, looked through all the multiple folders I had on it, saw the 13-year-old nudes, freaked out, ripped it out, stomped on it, and flushed it down my toilet. I'm not a predator, I just held on to those nudes in deep within folders, and that's what happened to me. Oh well, guess I'll keep uploading like I normally did.
Now, I have been made aware of...
Wow, this guy sucks. Every time you think this guy can't suck anymore, he sucks just a little bit more.
Of multiple images and instances where Jar has in some way downplayed relationships between adults and minors. However, from what I've seen at time of recording, I don't think Jar is running these plays and defenses because he in some way has some skeletons in his closet. I think he was probably just going along the common consensus, and for those of you aware of the Fruitcake server leaks and the Toby drama, he wasn't the only one. Though it is worth highlighting that if Jar has friends who have done serious things wrong, whether it be Cinny or Spockter, who bear some striking similarities, he will defend them because what's important to Jar is that his friends are useful, that his friends owe him, and ultimately that he is getting validation for the takes he gives. And please note that I'm saying takes he gives, not his takes, because Jar doesn't have...
Hey, I'm not a predator. I just kept those nudes within folders, within folders, within folders. Who cares if they were minors? You know, I took them out, I printed them out, and then I stomped on them and flushed them down my toilet. Bro, they're still on your computer, though. Just because you printed them out doesn't mean that you got rid of them and flushed them down your toilet. That makes no fucking sense whatsoever. So stupid, dude.
Have any fucking opinions of his own. Jar's opinions are formed by committee. And what's insane about this statement is that isn't something I'm saying. It's something that Mally said to him when they were having drama.
I've been insulted saying my videos are designed by committee instead of just me, and I think they're right.
Jar is so incapable of having opinions of his own.
Exactly, Chappie. He's like, I'll print them out and stomp on them and flush them down my toilet. Why are you printing them out, you fucking weirdo?
He has to take criticism from years ago and rephrase it as self-reflection. I know this is going to sound petty as hell to some of you, but
exactly, Carla. It's all a frame job.
What Jar does. The reason that Just a Robot has been involved in so many fucking dramas is because as a drama is nearing its end, what Jar will do is jump in, waving his banner saying, "Don't worry guys, Just a Robot's here," when the battle is already won. And
good point, Beckett.
And the only way Jar has been able to continue this grift is by parroting the takes that have already won the day. Which is exactly what happened in the Cinebear drama, by the way. Just a Robot saw Chud Logic covering it and laughing at Birdie and assumed that meant public opinion was turning. And then he just simply stole Kumu's opinions. Unfortunately for him, Kumu's opinions on the topic were fucking retarded. And if it sounds like I'm losing my mind, it's because after hours of looking through this guy's history, it is infuriating how often this has happened. And by the way, just before you think I'm some sort of conspiracy theorist, I'm not the only one who's noticed this.
Jar to me has always kind of been like a snake in the grass. I think that's the best way to describe him. He comes around only when like all the situations are over and he tries to act as if he was like the voice all along that people should have listened to. He has this I feel like he has this sort of like hero complex in a way when he makes his videos. And the reality is that he just kind of, he looks to an opinion that he can repeat that's the prevailing one. And then I feel like he can just he just kind of goes with the flow of the community, and that's how he's been able to just kind of get away with being this like this fucking idiot, you know.
I guess I wonder looking at this when you know you've got a decently sized platform where your job on the internet is to commentate on things, where you're sort of saying to me, well, yes, I commentate on things, but I'm not actually sure I have any actual opinions. Which is...
It's probably a good thing you reacted to it later on when more evidence and stuff came out. Yeah, I probably still feel like I would have had a lot of the same takes. I don't know if it's just because me and Chud are the same age or whatever, but I do feel like me and Chud being mature, being older, we kind of can see through a lot of bullshit because we have more life experience than a lot of people like Queeman or people who are just full of piss and vinegar and looking to get a troll out of people. I don't feel like my opinions would have changed, but yeah, now that there's a lot more to talk about, definitely think that reviewing it now is probably better.
You know, a bit of an odd juxtaposition.
I do have opinions. I do. It's just, I want my opinion to be right. Well, I guess everybody does to a certain extent. It's just...
Not really. Not really. Sometimes people purposely take the opposite opinion just to get some attention. And that was even a tip from my YouTube coach at one point when I was doing coaching on YouTube. He was like, you know, have you ever thought about just like taking the opposite side just to draw up some attention for your channel? And I'm like, well, sometimes, but I don't know if I would do that in a case like this or... Cheers to us for doing things our way. That's right. I don't follow the rest of the anti-MLM crowd either. You get lost in the weeds there if you don't.
Sometimes I'm trying to The problem with one of my biggest problems is I'm trying to seem like a very good version of myself to both sides or all sides, and I've been trying to strike that balance and I can't, and now I have to realize who am I, and a lot of people have noticed I've flip-flopped
Get some
more progressive and trying to work on pronouns to being more edgy, and I keep going back and forth. I'm like, I don't know what I prefer. I don't know what I want.
Before we move on, I want to get to why Jar has survived so long.
It's just, when you constantly win, like I have...
Now, this might seem like a slightly odd statement given what we've seen recently, but I promise you, there is actually an explanation, and it's highlighted in the recent call Kumu had with Cinebat.
Oh, a little corno music. Ooh, yeah. We're watching Beckett, we're thing with Jar.
This guy was. I warned you how he was. I told you what position you were in, and I was very conscious and scared on your behalf because of what position you're in. Jar could have raped you, and that's probably what he was trying to, like... That was
Okay, that's a little extreme. Say what you want about the guy being a creep, but just to flat out say that he's going to try and grape someone, I don't know if it would have got that far. I mean, for all we know, he could have been a grape. That just seems like reaching, if anything.
It was probably his dream, his end goal.
Jar's history includes some of the most insane false allegations I have ever seen, including in one instance a grooming accusation against a niece who does not exist. And this has been to Jar's net benefit, because whenever people level criticism at him, he's able to point to
Oh my god, how funny would it be if I made a video documenting the exploits of someone who doesn't even exist and how horrible they were?
Those allegations and say they were false, so how can we trust these ones?
What were the Fluffy Turbo allegations?
Fluffy Turbo and Chaos 55T came out of hiding to make up false allegations about Jar
Ponder Sprocket
and sexually abusing his niece, who doesn't exist. So, for context, Chaos 55T was originally a part of the people who drove Jar off of DeviantArt. This is like bits and pieces that I remember from his DeviantArt whatever story. She made up allegedly, she made up someone who doesn't exist and claimed that Jar drove this person to end themselves. When Jar came forward and talked about what he dealt with, obviously Chaos got a lot of flack from that. She dipped. A few months later, maybe a year later, I don't exactly remember the time frame, Fluffy Turbo, who was one of Chaos's friends, started going around to people, Laka Moka Laka and myself included, trying to pass off these screenshots as allegations that Jar was grooming a minor and that he had in the past sexually assaulted his niece. I went over this stuff, and in the course of 5 minutes, I told Fluffy Turbo to shove it. But I think 2 weeks after that, she brought the allegations to the public and tried to press them. So I did a stream going through them, basically being all like, this is fucking bullshit. And in the course of the stream, some of the allegations went over the idea that Jar was racist.
True, sizes and everything, but it certainly helps.
Shrugged it off and said, yeah, we know Jar's racist. I don't care about this stuff. Show me, the serious stuff. And as far as I'm aware, he's held that against me since.
I mean, only in the ACC could you have a drama about sexual assault against somebody who's not real.
That's pretty funny.
It's happened.
Actually means is he manages to debunk some of the insane accusations coming from people who've been A-logging him for 10 years. Which is why, if you're going to make accusations like this against somebody, you better have some solid evidence and some reliable sources. Though I do want to be charitable. Many of you will be aware of my drama with known dentistry dodger Wick TV.
New Moon says, so he hears something different than what is said. Oh, then when confronted, he says, yeah, you're right, but what? He knows what he's doing, a failed manipulation. It is true. It seems like this guy waits till all the controversies, the gloves are coming off. Yes, Daddy Scambit, we're going hard year 2, man. Now that I feel a little more confident in how this whole thing works. Year 1's the rookie year. Most players don't get into their prime until year 3 or 4. So let's go. I think I had a pretty good rookie year, though. I didn't have the best rookie year, but I have a pretty solid one. We're going to need to start making some content that really provokes some interesting reactions and makes people think. That's why I think Beckett is so popular, because Beckett is somebody who knows how to form his arguments really well. And he's really good at finding stuff that other people haven't found.
Who in early 2023 removed me from a panel so he could rizz up another member of said panel because she had more subscribers than me. Now, Wick's history of scumbaggery is well documented. We also clashed in early 2024 when it was...
That guy looks like just an absolute degenerate. Just from like one look at him with the hood up and the glasses and the missing teeth. This guy just looks straight like he's the guy who always lectures you on what you should be thinking, but in his day-to-day life, he has nothing to offer of substance.
Discovered that he was working with Progressive Victory undisclosed to his audience while promoting them. And if you're confused as to why I'd bring up a completely unrelated person who has nothing to do with any of this in the middle of a video on Jar, I don't blame you. So please explain to me why every single Just a Robot drama video has a section rehashing his grievances with people who are nothing to do with anything, and they're randomly inserted in the most awkward way possible. In his hit piece on Doodle Tones, he basically stops talking about her for 3 minutes so he can talk about how much better he is than all the other commentators he's fought with over the years.
That's never gonna endear you well. By acting like you're smarter than everybody else. You could say you've won debates or feel like you've won debates, but when you act like you are smarter than everybody else around you, it just alienates you from the rest of the community.
And in case you think this is an isolated incident, no, this is just how Jar works. In his recent conversation with Lio Convoy, when his credibility and reputation is crumbling to make a drama video again. Though he does have one question.
Quick question. I do have one drama video that is all finished, and I was thinking of just making it a Patreon exclusive. Do you think I should do that?
No.
Jar has a pathological need to go after people, and while he is talking about how he will never engage in drama content again, this is something I would be deeply skeptical of. This isn't the first time Jar has taken a break, and secondly because deep down, Jar is deeply, deeply vengeful.
Every time I go to bed, and I'm about to fall asleep, I just feel angry about sometimes things that has to go, and sometimes I feel like revenge is the only thing that keeps me going.
And don't get me twisted, I personally love a little bit of vengeance, but one of the frustrating things about Jar is his need to be seen as the hero and never the villain.
When I'm winning in a drama, I try to show my opponents mercy. I guarantee you, if the situation was flipped, Diaper Tones would not have done the same. I knew this from the beginning our drama began, but I still showed them kindness. But despite all the kindness I showed them, they were not willing to show me any kindness in return.
Okay, this is just insane nonsense. I've got no idea why Jar would say this when it's so obviously and provably false. It's probably time to bring up Jar's second channel, which dates back to 2013, and Jar can say that he is merciful when he's winning a drama, but I really want to direct you to one person that Jar has been beefing with for 8 years at this point. The creator in question is T-Moss Boss, who has over 100,000 subscribers and a dead channel. Even in the midst of the current drama as one of Jar's longest running detractors, still nobody gives a shit. Except for Jar, put up on Patreon, is in fact on T-Moss Boss. You literally cannot make this insanity up. But however, T-Moss does help us to answer some interesting questions. For example, why is it so many people are hesitant to even go after this guy?
Good to see you, Queen of Karma. The Queen has arrived. That's right. Just in case you guys don't know, Queen of Karma has her own YouTube channel where she takes down MLM companies left and right, and she does a great job at it. So make sure you guys get to check her out if you guys haven't seen her yet.
Now, I think it's reasonable to say that there are two separate components to this. Firstly, if you go after Jar, you will be dealing with Jar for the rest of your life, as he makes video after video after video on you.
Good. I hope so. I need that.
The next element is Jar's audience, which Jar himself describes as quite toxic. And while he claims to have taken steps to try and get them to chill the fuck out a bit, The honest truth is, the only way to get your audience to stop gunning for somebody is to just stop talking about them.
I do these drama videos to bring justice. I have a big channel, which gives me a lot of power.
Look, Jar is
Oh my god, this guy's so full of himself.
threat he poses to smaller content creators. And within the ACC, many people just don't want
Hey,
to deal
New Moon
with
over on
something like
Twitch!
that. In fact, one of the common questions I was asked is, are you sure you want to go down this route? Because you are going to be hearing about it for the rest of your life online. Just as an aside on this topic, to note Jar's startling paranoia, which has managed to fuck him over in ways he wasn't even aware of. I'm aware that you were worried that the ACC girlies were going to go after you. And, you know, you seem to make allusions to this in the commentary video.
Well, to be fair, they've been going after me. They're not just women. There's yeah.
Do you know that there was only one video planned on you, and it was a defense video?
No.
I know that Jar has been allegedly paranoid that the ACC is like planning on making a video on him or whatever. I have not been aware
That's
of
right,
these
DSB.
videos that people have
Preach
been
the word
planning
of
on making
kick.
about Jar, except for one, the Fluffy Turbo situation, and talking about how the allegations against Jar were false. I canceled my production of that video despite literally almost being done because one, I couldn't get the stupid Twitter account with his real ass name taken off of Twitter, no matter how many times I was reporting it, and I had been reporting it for months. But also because Jar decided to make a pot shot about me in one of his videos, and I decided, fuck him, he's a jackass, he doesn't deserve it.
Yeah, at some point, if you criticize literally everybody, there's going to be nobody left for you to do anything.
The only person making a video on you and it was to defend you from the previous accusations. And then you came out and took a shot, and the video was cancelled.
Just silence.
Entire second channel, which does seem to be sort of vengeance responses to people.
Just straight silence.
I know.
I mean, going back to 2013.
Taking notes to stay away from the AAC. Got it. Yeah, apparently.
Back to 2013.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
Oh, yeah.
That
I thought you were talking about the recent stuff. Yeah, this is one issue I do have.
Okay, this is like the 10th issue you have, not just one issue you have. Like, this is like the 19th issue that we've figured out throughout this whole video. That's one issue I definitely have. No, it's like the 20th issue you have, bro.
Have a very strong desire to get back at people, and the worst part is, once you do, it doesn't feel that great. It feels a little good, but it doesn't feel nearly as great as you would think it does. And I was trying to respond to every single video ever made on me on my second channel at one point, but then I got bored.
Good. So that means keep making videos on Just a Robot, and then he'll keep responding, and then I'll keep getting videos made about me. Let's do it!
And now I realize like how silly and stupid that made me look, because I could have been making videos that people actually gave a shit about and got a lot more views. And
see, all he does is care about views and stuff, which, don't get me wrong, views are nice, but sometimes you got to do things because you just like it. It's like what keeps you invigorated and passionate about what you're doing.
Granted, response videos are a lot easier to make. Like, you know what you're saying, you know what they're saying. You don't even need a script. You just hit the record button and use some gameplay. Very easy stuff to make.
No, I don't use gameplay, guys. There's a reason I don't, because I feel like it's cheating. Although... I would like to throw in some good old fighter jet battles going on in the background of my videos. I think that would be cool.
But now, with the amount of people I've pissed off, I realized that I kind of dug my own grave by acting the way I did. I kept on pissing people off one after another.
He does, Queen. He cannot help but keep digging that hole. He needs to put the shovel down and walk away.
And eventually I knew eventually it would come back to bite me in the ass, and it did.
I mean, yeah. So the people I've spoken to who've had sort of issues with you in the past, one of the constant things I hear is they don't want to respond. They don't want to deal with kind of how vengeful you are. And there's this fear, especially for smaller channels or people with lesser platforms,
that, in fact, I heard Timos Boss say this in his most recent video, and I've heard this from kind of multiple, even bigger channels, where there's this real worry.
Yeah,
it's not just you that
he just kind of realized
end up in a position of weaponizing an audience to come after them potentially.
I need you guys to be my weapons. I need you guys to go out and attack for me. I'm just kidding, YouTube. I don't mean that seriously. I'm just regurgitating what he just said. That's all. Okay, I'm not trying to weaponize my audience. Don't get it twisted.
I suppose you're right. I mean, that's the risk of having a platform, and I'm going to be honest here. I don't like that because I've done what I can to keep my fans off of Doodletone's back for a very, very long time. I been saying in my more recent drama videos on the old channel, please do not attack this person. And like I've been, and
please don't attack this person, but I'm not gonna hate you if you don't. If you get what I'm saying, is it getting hot in here, or is it just me?
That's true, but I mean, from what I can hear from behind the scenes, that may be what you say publicly, but it seems like.
Yeah, they really are the worst, Queen. We know of one person who definitely weaponizes their audience.
Privately, you have at least alluded to that threat.
Or scared.
Of having dramas with people.
Well, I have said, like, listen, like, I think a good example is the Vincent Skullman stuff. Like, he made a video on me, and I wanted to talk things out with him instead of making a video because he was a very sensitive guy, and I was like, my fans are so toxic, I didn't want them to go after him. And I tried to talk things out with him in private. Eventually, it did work. Unfortunately, that created issues with him, Lio, and Linlin, and I was like, oh my god, I did not want that to happen. I try my best to work things out with people, but I just sometimes don't feel like I know.
It's fear of the rain, yeah. Oh my god, Kaylee, Aesthetic, where have you been, girl? I thought we lost you. I thought that you had moved on to greener pastures. Where you been, honey?
What I'm doing. Like, I do desire revenge.
Yeah, we're watching Cope and Seeth's coverage of Just a Robot files. It's like all the stuff that Just a Robot's done that's even worse than what he's let on to do.
I do desire to get back at people, but I also desire to work things out with people and talk through them, things with them. And with Lio, for a long time, that he was a big help with that. I sat down and talked things out with multiple people instead of just...
He's been talking in circles, Queen, for like this whole interview. I could pretty much do Jar's interview for him now. All I'd have to do is just basically be like, I'm very sorry. I didn't mean what I said. Yeah, I need to work on that. Yeah, I need to work on that too.
Because as much as people fear my vengefulness, I also fear the vengefulness of others.
Looking at where you're sat now, I know you've said you're not going to make more drama videos, so you're going to take a step back from that because of Lio. Is that, you know, I suppose the question people will have is this you saying that now?
Yeah, DSB, he has not changed his responses at all. Every single response sounds exactly the same as every response. You could play Just a Robot's responses to every single question that Beckett asks, and every single response sounds exactly the same. You never even know what the questions are different.
Then in 6 months, 12 months, whatever, you'll be like, well, now it's died down, I can take a hit at the people who took shots at me.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Yeah, like, that's a great question. Great question. Did I tell you how great your questions were, Beckett? I just want to make sure you like me by the time this is all said and done. He never learned from this, so I cannot accept the apology. Yeah, his apologies are empty, Queen. It's like the worst apologies I think I've ever heard. This is a masterclass in how not to deal with drama.
That is an excellent question. I'm thinking of making my backdrop, like, don't get back into drama on my laptop so I can keep reminding myself.
Yeah, drama's not for everybody. But then again, like, his biggest videos aren't even drama related. His biggest videos are like about Star Wars and shit like that. That's the videos that get him the most views. So he doesn't even need to do drama. Like, he could just do culture stuff, movies, stuff like that, and he gets just as many views, if not more. So there's really no reason for him to even be in drama. The reason that people get into drama is because it's a quick buck. You know, you're going to get some views on it because people are interested in the dramas. But at the same time, you know, if you don't need it, why are you doing it? Especially if you're not mentally equipped to deal with it. You got to be sharp as a tack to stay in drama.
I just don't know if I'll go back to it. And I know I get angry and want to get back at people.
That was a very strange spot to put that, Beckett. You know, I'm not here to judge.
I want to just turn this last bit back to the Cinebear drama we're currently embroiled in. Jar's choices and decision-making are highly questionable. I mean, what possessed you to go to Chud Logic of all people?
This is a great question. I want to know the answer to this.
I like Chud, don't get me wrong, but like, if I was looking for somebody to kind of side up in a drama with me, or like if I needed somebody who I thought I could get, or I could use a platform for to like just even plant a seed of an idea, he would be the fucking last person I'd pick.
Listen, okay, I have a theory why he picked Chud Logic. Because he mentioned to Chud Logic that he saw Noah Samson bring up his grooming allegations. So I think that Jar thought that going to Chud Logic, Chud would be like, yes, I've been a victim of grooming allegations too. Of course I'm going to defend her because I know how it feels. But in reality, like, the situations could not be more different. I just don't get how he missed the gross picture. Yeah, I don't either, Queen. He's a special little guy.
Okay, 2 reasons, but after this, I need to go for a little bit because I need to take a dump.
Oh, fucking God. Hey, man, you know, sometimes you gotta dump, I guess.
Yeah, okay, so it might just be gas. It should just take 5 minutes.
Oh my God, dude. Why? Why?
So don't, like, turn off the call or anything. I'll just mute myself and
That's fine. I'll grab it. I'll grab a drink while you're doing it.
Yeah, so...
No, I'd be like, no, let's continue the interview while you're on the pot, bro. No, I want to do the interview while you're dropping turds, man.
One is, I was suggested that he was more fair to Cine than anyone else.
I think he thinks it's funny, Queen. I really think he thinks it's, like, hilarious.
2, Chud did a video on me back in, as he said it, his soy days, and out of any video I've ever seen on me, I thought it was the most fair and balanced, so I thought, oh, this seems like a guy who's fair and balanced. And, you know, maybe he is, but he probably, like, when I got onto that...
Yeah, Queen, the way that he was like, I'm autistic. Shut the up. How many of you people are need to use that as an excuse? It's like a slap to the face of anybody who's actually autistic. Yeah, I misspelled professional intentionally. Yeah, well, we're professional streamers over here, guys. Professional audience members.
Stream, and I saw how angry he was. I realized, oh no, I messed up.
I think it's fair to say that Jar dangerously misjudged how wider commentary would react to something like the Cinebear story. Art commentary involves an extraordinary amount of things that happen behind the scenes in people's interpersonal relationships. This leads to long-standing beefs and feuds that go on for years in some cases, but let's be honest, wider commentary's intention is quite different.
He's autistic and Bo Blacks is non-binary because of his long hair. He is absurd. Yeah, well, Bo Blacks is apparently autistic too. Everybody's autistic these days. You just tell everybody who gets in a drama goes, well, I'm autistic. And it's, well, shut the fuck up. Nobody cares. Like, nobody cares if you're autistic. Like, that's not an excuse for you to behave however you want. I have a bad take. I'm autistic. I talk to someone inappropriately and get called out for it. I'm autistic. I do this. I'm autistic. I pick my butt in public and get caught on video doing it. Sorry, I'm autistic. Like, that's everybody's go-to these days on the internet, and it needs to stop.
No, I mean, like, it's just content, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Frankly, most stories we talk about as commentators, we don't have a deep emotional investment in. Most coverage is going to be pretty dispassionate. And I didn't make this video because I hate Jar. I did it because I lack impulse control in a social life. Honestly, the entire Cinebear drama highlights the issues with becoming overly invested in a story. The issues Jar, and frankly anybody else even tangentially involved in this mess, have faced should be a stark reminder to everyone of the flack you will catch if you make this mistake.
Yeah, fair. One thing I learned, thank God I'm not big enough to get in so much trouble for it yet. Becoming overly invested in a story is never a good idea.
Finally, I'd just like to thank everyone who was involved in helping with this project.
Because it blinds you to blatant issues that are in your argument. If you're dramatically defending someone and you don't have all the information, you can set yourself up for a pretty hardcore fail.
From interviews to art assets, it's all really appreciated. I hope you've enjoyed what we've gone over today and it's been useful to you in the future, because a video like this really did need to exist, frankly. The full interview with Jar will be linked in the description below.
Beckett, once in a while you need to turn and look at your audience.
And as I suck at sign-offs, I guess I'll just see you in the next one.
Beckett, Jesus Christ, look at your audience every once in a while, my friend. That's the only thing that drives me nuts about Beckett. He just stares at the computer screen while we look off to him in the side. He needs to turn once in a while and be like, you know what I mean, guys? You know, like, look at the camera. Include your people. Give us some eye contact, man. That's my only beef with that video. Good job, Beckett. Great video. All right, guys. Oh, man. Thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. That was a good one, man. Jar's got a lot to learn. Final thoughts on the whole Just a Robot experience, because we're probably not going to cover him again after this unless he does something even more stupid. But to be honest with you guys, I think that Jar's he has so much to learn, especially a guy being 30. Don't get me wrong. At 30, I didn't have it all figured out either, right? Jar needs to log off the internet for good, just forget about YouTube and get a life. Yeah, maybe YouTube's not for him, you know. YouTube maybe not be for him.